Sup bros, today we're gonna review a fat tire electric bike that's pretty darn popular. There's a few things that really set this thing apart in the marketplace. One, it's got some pretty cool tech, which I'm about to show you. Battery lock, let's try battery lock. Whoa. Okay, so it won't just like fall out, so this is kind of interesting, it's supposed to lock. Yep, definitely heard it lock. Oh yeah, that is definitely locked. 2, it's a pretty darn popular brand. And 3, I don't have a 3, but it's called the Aventure 3 from Aventon, and today we're gonna review it. List price is $1 shy of $2,000 in the link below this video. If you do decide to buy this bike, if you click that link before you buy it, it would help support my reviews. But don't buy the Aventure 3 just yet. We gotta crack this thing open, take a closer look at all the components, see how the tech works, see how the app works, see how this thing performs riding on the sand. Can it climb hills? What's the range like? How does it ride? We're gonna answer all those questions and more in today's review. So let's get to it. Here's what it looks like when you get out of the box. So the very first thing catching my eye on this bike is the chainring. I've never seen a guard quite like this on a chainring, but there's one other thing too. If you look closely, you can see this is actually a narrow, wide chainring. So the teeth alternate from narrow, wide, narrow, which perfectly matches up with the narrow, wide chain as it goes through the chainring. And the resulting effect of this is it keeps the chain from falling off of the chainring. It's a very effective way to keep the chain on there. That is not a feature you see on every bike. And as you can see, this is the high step version. They also have a step through frame, and both the step through frame and the high step frame have 2 size options, medium and large. We have the large here. So another thing that makes the Aventon Aventure 3 unique from other e-bikes is there is no key to remove this battery. Usually there's a key on one side or the other to pop the battery out, not on this bike. So I guess the idea is so you don't lose the key, which can be a problem. I've lost the key to these bikes before and it sucks if you do. So I guess you unlock it from the screen. I'll show you soon. So it does come with a rear rack installed and metal fender. Looks like some sort of mounting point here. Rated for 59 pounds and no lights on the back of it because the lights are down here on the frame. And while we're down here, we can see we have 8 gears on a cassette. Shifting happens courtesy of a Shimano Altus derailleur. And power output comes in the form of a Aventon 750 watt nominal geared hub motor. Taking a closer look at the stamps on here, it does say 750 watt. Does that say 36 volt? Is this a 36 volt system on this thing? We'll have to check that out. And looking at the spec sheet here, yeah, this is a 36 volt bike. Looks like the battery is listed as 36 volts, 20 amp hours, 733 watt hours. We'll pop that out in a minute. So as you probably know, 750 watts is the nominal power. It can peak out at 1188 watts specifically. So it's become pretty industry standard to be 48 volt on these fat tire e-bikes. Some of the faster, higher power ones are like 52, 60 volt, even 72 volts nowadays. So it'll be interesting to see how a 36 volt system performs. They could be running higher amperage because ultimately power is volts times amps. Volts gives you speed, amps gives you torque. So really curious to see how this thing rides. Tires are a Nova brand. Obviously they're the 26x4 inch fatties. There's the tread pattern for you. So no suspension on the rear helps keep the weight down and your fuel efficiency up. And even though there isn't suspension on the frame, they do give you a suspension seat post, which will help isolate your body from bumps. Of course, it's got the quick release for easy adjustments, and the seat on this thing actually looks pretty nice. Cable management looks legit, bro. And coming from a dude who has built 300 or so of these bikes, I love when they give you this little crosshair up here. Helps you get the handlebars aligned just right. It's also great that they have the display already on there. One step to make your life easier. Handlebars have a bit of a rise. 8 speeds on the shifter, as we've already seen. Grips are round and rubber. Use your controls and a thumb throttle on the left for power application. And we are running Tektro hydraulic brakes. And the brake rotor on the front wheel is a 180 millimeter rotor. We've got a bolt down axle type. And it's gonna be sitting on open dropouts. The open dropouts make it easy just to drop right on there. Don't forget these guys. Up front, we got a pretty typical fork with 80 millimeters of travel. You can adjust how firm or soft that is with clicks in between this adjustment knob. Preload adjustment is on the other stanchion. On the softest setting, moves freely. So we've also got a box of accessories, stickers. So you get some Aventon branded tools, some pedals, and Aventon charger. 36 volts charge. The max is 42 volts, and it is a 4 amp charger on a 20 amp hour battery pack. Would take 5 hours to charge from empty to full. We still gotta get that battery off there. We do get some reflectors. Gotta throw the headlight on, and a little bit of bike grease. So I got that front fender on, headlight on. I should also point out there is a place to mount a front basket and a water bottle down here. And these bolts on the back was just for the rack. I spent about an hour building this, and I think just about anybody could do it. Quick look at the brakes. They are Tektro calipers up front. Same thing on the back. Does the rotor match? Brake rotor back here. What is this thing? Is that a spacer? I'm actually not 100% sure. I don't see the number listed, but it is a 180. So enough of the technical specs. Let's turn this thing on. Aventon. Battery ships at 55%, which is a healthy shipping voltage. You can see the screen is color. So assist modes, there's Eco Sport, Turbo. I think I heard somewhere there's a boost mode. Get average speed, max speed, total time, an estimate for your range remaining, odometer, turn signals. There's a look at the turn signals. Grabbing a brake lever gives you brake lights. The signals are actually self-canceling, so they turn off after about 10 seconds. Holding the plus button turns on the lights, which turns these on a bit, and then grabbing the brake lever makes them a little brighter. Turning the headlight on also dims the display a bit and turns on the front light. It's a compact lightweight light, but it actually seems to be pretty bright. So I want to know, how do we get that battery off there? We might need to get this app. You don't have to take it off to charge it. Charge port is right there on the battery, so you could charge it on or off the bike. That would be the controller right here. All right, so app was super easy to download and log into. This is probably the most polished looking app I've ever seen for an e-bike, which makes sense. Aventon's a big company. Let's see if we compare. It says hold the plus and minus button. Oh, so there's the battery lock actually. You just hold plus and minus to get to that and go down to, all right, we got all kind of stuff. Bike lock, battery, or we gotta try the bike lock thing. Display unit brightness, password. Oh, it's actually error history. You could check system info, and let's do connect app. So it gives us our QR code. Boom, pair now. That's easy peasy. And first thing they have you do here is fill out your info for your lifetime warranty on the frame. Okay, so I want to try out some of the features here, including the lock. So this is kind of interesting. It's supposed to lock. Yep, definitely heard a lock. So that locked the back wheel, and it's supposed to be like a theft deterrent. Oh yeah, that is definitely locked. Obviously, it's just a deterrent. You could just pick this whole thing up. We'll have to get it on scale. So let's unlock that. And now you can roll out, roll out. It's got some other gimmicky stuff like turn on your light. And you can also power off the bike. Can you power on the bike though? Bike is offline. And the app has the more settings, so you can do screen brightness, auto power off time, assistant level, ride tune. What? Oh, cool. So you can like really get in there and, you know, change your eco mode, max torque, assistance, pedal response. Probably the most advanced looking app for this sort of tuning I've ever seen. Oh, you can just have it do lock when powered off as well. There's an alarm and a unusual activity detector. So you have to have the IoT, Internet of Things, set up. So it looks like the IoT feature is like a paid service. You get like 1 year for free, and that is $20 a year after that. Pretty affordable, but let's see. Do you have to like put a card in or something? Okay. Says it's active. And then also has geofencing, which means you could, you know, make this thing not even work in some areas. So I turn the alarm on. Let's see what happens if I try and. So it just makes like a little beep. Yeah, that's the alarm. Not super impressed with that. This is an alarm. At the end of the day, all this stuff is just theft deterrence. I mean, the best thing you can do is just put your bike somewhere safe. But check it out. It does show me. It says unusual movement detected. Unusual movement detected. Alarm. Got it. So now with the IoT set up, I bet you we can actually turn this thing on. No, it's not working right now anyway. Maybe I need to update the app. It does have over-the-air an update. Is asking me to update. I just didn't feel like doing it yet. So the thing I really want to do is get the battery off this. So let's see what we can do here. Fire this thing back up. Yeah, it says new firmware. I don't want to do that now, but it's cool. It does have over-the-air updates. So hold the plus and minus button. Battery lock. Let's try it. Unlocked. I don't understand how it comes off. Whoa. Is it gonna fall? Oh wait, that's bike locked. Oh shoot, I pressed the wrong thing. I'm an idiot. Unlock the bike. Battery lock. Let's try battery lock. Whoa. Okay, so it won't just like fall out. It just kind of spits it out a little bit there. And now we should be able to, oh yeah, just press it down there. Oh yeah, kind of a light battery. It actually has like a rubber pad on the bottom. And it is listed as an Aventon battery showing 733 watt hours of energy. It is indeed a 36 volt battery as we've already seen, and 20 amp hours. So as mentioned, this is not like a particularly large battery for a fat tire electric bike. It is 8.8 pounds. So one of the nice things about the smaller Don't break. I guess maybe it won't break your scale. But what I was gonna say is it keeps the weight of the bike down. Speaking of weight, let's weigh the actual bike. I don't have a bike scale, but I do have a people scale. So I'll pick it up and subtract my weight, which is 192.4 for me. Unusual activity. Tail Happy TV is weighing the bicycle. This is not unusual, bro. We do this every video. So standing on the scale, picking up the entire bike without the battery, the number is showing 262.8. What's 262.8 minus 192.4?
70.4.
Comes out to about 70.4 pounds for just the bike, plus 8.8 for the battery. So basically a 79-pound fat tire electric bike. So let's throw the battery back on in there. And let's hop aboard this bike. So as mentioned, I have the large in the high step bike. This is the largest one. I am 6'5", inseam 34, so I just got this because it'll fit me best. Personally, I prefer step through because it's easier to get on and off, but I figured I would look less ridiculous getting the bike that fits me. So with the seat on maximum height, this bike does actually feel like it fits me pretty well. Here's what my pedal stroke looks like with the seat on max height. Suspension seat post does kind of give us a little suspension back here. And it's pretty upright riding geometry, which I am a fan of, for sure. But yeah, it does get you a bit on the handlebars, so should be pretty good for actually pedaling, which we might need to do with this battery pack. So obviously you could get the step through frame, and it kind of makes the whole bike smaller, but I'll just drop this seat down to minimum height. And you could swap out the seat post for, you know, a non-suspension seat post and have even lower, bring the seat lower. But here's what this one, just for example, what the large frame high step looks like. And obviously when you drop the seat, it makes your seating position a little more upright. So let's put it on turbo mode and see what happens. This is how we get these skid marks in here, bro. Ooh, let's get it out for a rip. All right, dudes, let's go for an adventure on the Aventure. And actually starting this ride out with an over-the-air update, so that's kind of a unique feature. So let's fire up the Strava, see what kind of range we get out of this battery today. Unusual movement detected, and we are on a full charge. Let's roll. So inside a dark-ish environment, let's turn on the lights. So front light is actually pretty bright, and then you got the lights on the rear. Also the brake lights, you can see them lighting up. Yeah, that front headlight is a lot better than most. So let's go ahead and rip it up to 20% grade, see how it does. And after updating the software, now I have boost mode, which allows for 120% torque for 30-second burst. So let's just do throttle only. I weigh 200 pounds and see how it performs on boost mode. So 36-volt system actually pulling us up to 20% grade, totally fine, better than expected. So like I said, power ultimately is voltage times amps. So just because the volts is 36 doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be weak, because I could just be pushing more amps, which in general, more amps gives you more current, more torque, and more volts gives you more top speed. But rant aside, let's feel this bike out. I'm gonna put it down to off on gear 1. So, you know, if your battery dies on this bike, yes, you can actually pedal this thing and ride it. You know, you're gonna be getting obviously more of a workout than, you know, a lighter bike. The long crank arms and the gearing on this thing, it's fine, man. I'm cruising along about 8 miles an hour, and that's with the motor completely off. So we'll switch it to eco mode, the lowest mode now. And we have all those settings that we can actually mess with inside the app, but let's just feel it out here. So it is a torque sensor, and so what the torque sensor does is give you power in proportion to how hard you press on the pedals. And then obviously you can just dial up everything to make it easier. And 8 gears, more than usual over here on the shifter. A lot of bikes give you 7 gears, and eco mode is making me work for it, man. It makes me, kind of peaks me out right around 9-10 miles an hour on gear 3. Riding position on this one is actually pretty darn good. I like it. Like, it's not super chill and like upright. It does, you know, get you up on the handlebars just a bit when the seat's on max on the large frame. Step over for a 6'5" rider. The handlebars have a bit of a rise to them, so you know, I'm not like way hunched over, but I'm also not like super chill. Like, it's like a good neutral riding geometry. I actually like it. It's conducive to actually pedaling the bike and putting a little bit of power into the pedals. Sometimes if you're too relaxed, it's hard to put power down. If you're too far forward, it's just fatiguing on your arms. All right, so let's switch this thing up to sport mode now, the next mode up. So with the torque sensor, you know, it just makes it a little bit easier. You just don't have to press quite as hard to access that power. Now, it doesn't give us like a power meter to tell us exactly how much power we're getting, but cruising on gear 5 at about 12 miles an hour, and then we can do it to turbo mode, which once again makes it just a little bit easier to go fast. And this one, yeah, this allows you to really access that juice a little bit easier, makes the ride a lot more fun. Now with this 720 watt-hour battery, I believe it is, if you're juicing it hard, you could burn through your battery quickly. Likely, we'll see. Oh yeah, turbo mode makes it real easy. Bike feels pretty balanced. Got a Skoda cruising by us. Was that a Segway? Those things are crazy, man. So now on flat ground, let's try the throttle. Actually, I haven't even really thought to like really use a throttle. Like it just feels like a electric bicycle. Sometimes I get on these things and it's just like, yeah, I'm on a motorcycle. I'm not even gonna pedal it. This one doesn't really feel that way, but yeah, you do have the throttle here. Per the default settings, wow, yeah, it feels a little stronger than I expected, but it'll take us up to about 20 and then it cuts power. With the throttle, I'll give it a 0 to 20 here in a minute. But let's throw it on. Oh, we can't go to boost mode now. We must have maxed out our 30 seconds. So we'll try the boost in a minute. Nice scooter, man. Yeah, that's the Segway GT. I think one of those things goes like mid 40s. Oh shoot, they might be coming for him. Coming for us. Too much power. So it looks like boost mode is recovered now. Got another e-bike over there. Best way to get around, man, on a nice sunny day. All right, so let's just don't start out in gear number 8. So you can downshift like 3 gears at a time, which is typical on most shifters, but yeah, to boost mode. Okay, so we're gonna have to get into the app and unlock more speed, get over 20. Now, mind you, once you increase your top speed beyond 20, it basically takes like twice as much power to go 28 compared to 20 miles an hour. So if you unlock the top speed and you're cruising over 20, 25, 26, 27, you're gonna burn through your battery way more faster than if you just kept it chill at like 13 to 20. Bro, I'm so tempted to ride up this ramp right now. We know it can do the 20% incline. Can it do the moving truck incline? All right, I'll stop myself. Let's take it off-road here just for a moment. So, suspension, you got the front shock and then the suspension seat post. So it feels fine, man. You could definitely do some off-roading on this thing. I have the tires on 20 PSI. It feels good, man. It's totally acceptable. That rear suspension seat post makes a real big difference for sitting on the seat while riding off-road, and front shock is basic and just fine, bro. We're getting out of traffic, so let's unlock the app. Another thing about the suspension, you know, it's not a true full suspension bike, but by not having the rear suspension, you're gonna get more efficiency out of your battery. Also, you have less weight on the bike, and it just rides more like an electric bicycle. And you get most of the benefits of rear suspension by just having a suspension seat post. Like, it suspends your body from the bumps. It doesn't suspend the tire and frame from the bumps, so it'll be kind of bouncing around, but your butt will be fine. So in the app here, we can choose speed limit and metrics. So warning, yeah, we agree, I didn't read it, but you can increase the top speed to 28, which is, you know, typical for a fatty. And then also there's the ride tune, so you can get in here and change like the amount of torque for each of the modes. Like eco mode is set to 30 Newton meters, sport is set to 50 Newton meters, and turbo is set to 80 Newton meters. And then the assistance is 20%, 60, 90. And then you also have pedal response, so 40%, 60%, 80%, and that's pretty cool. Like you can just kind of dial everything. So yeah, turbo would be max torque, assistance is set to 90%, and pedal response too. So one of the more advanced apps, you know, I've really seen, but I think it's about time. We have breaking traffic here. Let's give it a roll. Now in turbo mode, we should be able to hit 28. Yeah, this bike feels good, man. You can tell Aventon has been doing this for a while. So going this way, we're going into headwind per usual. Yeah, throttle cuts us off at 20. You gotta let off the throttle. And yeah, it easily lets you go over 20 now. Yeah, don't even have to work that hard for it actually to get up to 27, and the gearing feels great on this bike. Like perfect cadence, riding position is fantastic, man. And we do have turn signals, right? So down there on the very bottom of the bike, you can flip a blinker on and merge into traffic. I'd say definitely watch your butt though, because I don't think people are really looking for turn signals on e-bikes, but who knows, man, maybe they are. So let's get a 0 to 20 acceleration, rip in on this thing. I'm gonna throw it on boost mode. GPS speedometer is here, which will lag just a little bit, so we'll go by the on board. That is boost mode, so ready, go, no pedaling. So pretty strong. Yeah. 15, 19, 20. And I actually like that it goes like just beyond 20. I was worried it was gonna cut me off just before 20, but I mean, it accelerates good, man. That's really all you need to know. It's not like insane, but you know, it's really all you need, man. The other thing I'm noticing, you know, just riding this bike, like it fits me good, which is awesome. You know, like a lot of bikes are too small for me on this channel. So it's really cool that they have this bike in basically 4 frame options, you know, medium and large in both high step and step through. So the whole step through frame is a little bit smaller than the high step. Generally, a lot of times I like to go with the step through frame on, you know, heavier fat tire e-bikes because it makes it easier to get on and off. And I almost got the step through for this one, but I decided just to get the high step because it'll fit me a little bit better. And it's really not that high of a high step. Fits me pretty good, dude. I'm gonna press this button to activate the crosswalk here. Oh, another thing I forgot to tell you guys about, on the bottom there is a standard USB charger for cell phone. Not the USB-C, unfortunately. Right, and we'll be to the beach in a minute to test this bike on the sand, but first, let's get a bit of an ocean breeze here for a top speed run. We're in sport mode. I flipped it to turbo, and at 20, you gotta let off the throttle and put it up into gear 8. Very easy to maintain cadence here at about, we're hitting 28, and it's on turbo, so we should have boost mode too. Yeah, so now boost mode gives you that little boost, but you are electronically limited, basically exactly at 28 miles an hour on this class 3 electric bicycle. So even though this thing is a 36 volt bike, it feels like a 48 volt bike, really, man. So I mean, come to think of it, like I was saying before, you know, ultimately your power is your voltage times your amps, but voltage, higher voltage generally gives you a higher top speed. Higher amps generally gives you more torque. If you're gonna design a bike that tops out at 28 and 36 volts can get you to 28, then maybe it makes sense to run 36 volts and push more amps so you get more torque. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're still getting the effective top speed that's legally gonna be allowed at 28, but maybe be able to get there faster, pushing more amps, getting more torque. I don't know, man. I don't know at all. Just kind of what I'm thinking here. But the real torque test is gonna be here on the sand. So we're gonna get out there and try it here in just a few. So when you're buying a fat tire e-bike with these knobby, tall, 20 by 4 inch fat, 26 by 4 inch fat tire e-bikes, there's a lot of trade-offs. They're not ideal for street riding, but once you start getting riding on stuff like this is where these tires really shine. And then, so as I mentioned, no suspension on the rear of the bike, but that suspension seat post makes all the difference sitting on this bike, rolling over this imperfect grassy area. Well, I was just out here doing a thumbnail and the wind blew the bike over. Dang it. Well, I guess we got a little bit of sand on the bars. Also, the bike does come with fenders in case you know, there's just some dog poop chilling on the boardwalk and you're running over. At least it won't fling up on you. All right, so it's time for a sand test. So I have it down to gear number 1. We're on turbo mode and got a crowd of people. We'll just pop off here, do full throttle, and I'm gonna bump it onto boost mode so we get a little bit more torque. We are on 20 PSI. Not pedaling, it's struggling a bit on the real soft stuff. If we drop the PSI, it would perform, you know, it'd roll through the sand a little bit better, but it's actually doing it just fine. Better than expected for a 36 volt electric bike, honestly. I'm helping it out just a bit. I don't have to, like, it's doing it on its own, just throttling right now. I wonder how long it can keep this up before the motor overheats or controller overheats. Don't know exactly how much power we're outputting, not pedaling, and we're about to get to the downhill. Now let's see, can we grip into the side of this hill with these knobby tires? Yes, sir. So the tall knobby tread really shines out here on the sand. Have full control over this thing. We'll shift it up to about gear 3 now and give the motor just a bit of a brake, and then we'll ride up this hill. And then let's see if we have access to that boost mode again. Nope, not quite yet. Still on turbo, so let's just see what it can do on turbo mode. Give it a little bit of help going up the hill. So we have the geared hub motor, and let's see how it does now. So I'm gonna have to help it. And riding in the sand obviously is about as harsh of conditions in the soft sand as you can pretty much really torture a motor with, other than an extremely steep hill. But it's going. I'm just helping it a bit here. I thought for sure I was gonna be getting off this bike, but we're gonna make it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna make it. No, I'm gonna lose control. I don't wanna lose. All right, we came within 4 feet, 6 feet. But obviously you have the throttle, so you can just, you know, if you're really torturing it, you can hop off and just throttle the bike. Pretty solid, bro. So let's go try the California incline, test the brakes, and then, oh, don't run over the poop. The poop is out here. And then we'll see where we end up at final range. So actually, after pushing the thing, yeah, it won't let me go back to boost mode now after basically beating the crap out of it out there for like a solid 3 to 4 minutes, and then full throttle. I can feel it's not giving me the full beans right now, and that, you know, it's preserving itself, you know, it knows the controller's getting hot, it knows the motor's getting hot. Actually, let's give it a feel, see if the motor's warm at all. Just slightly above ambient temperature, and then the controller would be down here. Controller definitely has some heat in it, man. Definitely has a little bit of heat in it. I can put my hand on there, but I wouldn't want to keep it on there for more than about 3 seconds. So I do like that this one has the exposed controller there to help it, you know, get cooling from the air. So I don't know if you noticed in the review, this one doesn't have like the typical like little box down here that looks like a mid-drive. Like you can just tell Aventon, you know, they've been making bikes for a while, and they've refined this design pretty well. All right, it's starting to feel a little more juicy again now. It's recovered. We just gotta go over here and bomb this TikTok, man. I don't know what they're doing. Interesting. Horizontal filming. That is long form content, filming horizontal, not TikTok. Or maybe, who knows? Who knows, bro? Who knows? Another thing that's nice about this bike is it meets the legal classifications of a class 3 e-bike in most places. You know, there's really no fear of the law for me riding around LA, but there's also no fear of me riding pretty much anything around LA. I don't know how the law enforcement is where you live. You can unplug this throttle and completely remove it too, by the way. All right, you know what time it is. We're gonna go to the top of that 85-foot climb, 85-foot cliff, but obviously we're not gonna ride straight up the cliff. We're gonna take the 12% California incline. Starting out on the spiral section here, we're gonna do throttle. I have it on turbo and just full throttling it. Don't even need to pedal. It's just climbing us right on up. Climbing about 8 miles an hour, holding on its own, just backpedaling. Starting from the base of the flat section here, we'll do full throttle, turbo mode, picking up. And I'm gonna press the boost mode. So it's on boost now. So we should get 30 seconds of extra torque and pull at 15 miles an hour. And then we're gonna hit 20, I can tell, pretty quickly. Hitting, yeah, 19, 20, and it's still showing boost mode. But we're gonna need to start pedaling now, so I'm gonna bump it on up to gear 6, let off the throttle. I mean, you gotta put in a decent amount of work to go faster than 20, so I'm just gonna hold the throttle. Oh yeah, no problem, man. This thing does well, very well, considering 36 volt system. Again, man, I am genuinely kind of surprised that, you know, they're getting this level of power out of 36 volts. And as mentioned before, power is volts times amps. So let's talk about brakes. They've got Tektro levers, Tektro calipers, and they are hydraulic with 180 millimeter rotors on a bike that weighs around 80 pounds. So, are they gonna work? Let's find out. Yes, sir. I mean, it's the kind of brakes that I have confidence in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're Tektros. I feel confident when I pull those levers. It's gonna stop me as they promise they're going to. They are not some cheap DY island brake. So let's get this thing up to a pretty quick pace here. We're going about 25 and give them a pull. Yeah, dude, these are good, powerful brakes. They're also good for like a newbie though, because they're not like so strong that if you pull them really hard, it's gonna throw you over the handlebars. So, I mean, sometimes when brakes get real powerful, you gotta be careful. But yeah, these feel real smooth and linear and bring it to a stop all the quicker you really need to. All right, so halfway through this ride, we are sitting at 66%. We're gonna head on home, check the final range. I'll share my final thoughts on the Aventon Aventure 3 along the way. So this price on this bike is $1,999 in the link below this video. if you do decide this is the e-bike for you and you also want to help support my reviews, click on that link, buy it through that link down there. It would help support my reviews, and I greatly appreciate your support. So the bottom line on this bike, man, well, you know, it's pretty just refined bike, man. Aventon's been making this bike for a long time. This is the Aventure 3. So, you know, they've had the 1, the 2, the 3, and they just keep making it a little bit better each time. This feels like a pretty refined, polished bike. You know, it's a little, you know, price-wise, $2,000. You know, if you're looking for like a speed demon or absolutely insane range, you know, there are other bikes out there that would probably fulfill those requirements, you know, at a more cost-effective price than this bike. But, you know, this is kind of like the normie, you know, just like popular fat tire electric bike. It rides nice, it's smooth, it's comfortable, feels plenty powerful. You know, it's not like exceptionally thrilling, but it is like, you know, legal-ish on the power, you know, 750 watts, nominal, although it does peak out more than that. But, you know, if you're looking for like a fairly powerful fat tire cruiser, you know, you can't really go wrong with this bike, man. This thing's solid, dude. This thing, it feels like more like riding a electric bicycle than an electric motorcycle. Like, I'm actually encouraged to pedal this bike and use the torque sensor pedal assist system, which is nice. And then, you know, it does have those tech options. So like the alarm, the locking rear wheel, and all that stuff I showed you on the, you know, unboxing and building portion of the video. Then it's got that Internet of Things connection, which is free for the first year. I'm a little salty that they actually charge you, even though it's only like not very much money, but after the first year, there is a little bit of a fee to use it. Personally, I don't really care too much about any of that tech, man. The theft deterrence ultimately is just theft deterrence, and really, you know, you're gonna need yourself a good lock and locking it up in a good place, depending on where you live. I mean, around here, bike theft is a huge problem, but maybe if you live in a small, nice community, you don't gotta worry about that stuff. And then really, you know, considering this was a 36 volt electric bike, I did not really expect it to perform as well as it did. It's not like, you know, an insane performer, but just the fact that, you know, it could climb the 20% grade and also, you know, ride out on the sand. It is much better than I was anticipating. So that's pretty much my final thoughts. If you wanna buy one, use that link below. Let's see where we end up on range though, because the battery on this thing, it's not the largest. And it does say we're at 56% with a range estimate of 16.9 miles remaining. But if you're a regular subscriber here, you know I like to go fast on the way home, and that is not good for range. So a little bit of a bummer, the throttle does cut you off at 20. I pretty much just pinned the throttle at 20 all the way home. And you know, I did a little bit of pedaling today, but largely throttle per usual. And we were on turbo mode, unless we were on boost mode, turbo mode for the entirety of today's ride. And I weigh 200 pounds, so let's take a look at range. So it is showing 46% remaining on the battery, and that was after our usual route. Did 17.34 miles, averaging just under 12 miles an hour. Hour, 27 minutes of ride time. It claims we did, yeah, it shows the correct odometer, 17.6 miles, and it says we have 13.6 more miles of range remaining. So I guess that actually seems fairly right based on, you know, 46%. So with the battery size and range, you know, it's always trade-offs. This isn't like the largest battery, but, you know, it's definitely sufficient. Like, it's a sufficient battery. Really, I always say, like, really all you want is enough battery to do as far as you're actually gonna ride, because batteries are freaking heavy. So the more battery you have, the more it starts to get weighed down and feel lethargic. This bike feels, you know, pretty spry, pretty light on his feet for a fatty. It's a fun day riding this thing. I'm enjoying this bike. So all around, you know, cool fat tire electric bike. If you wanna grab one, use that link down below the video. Support the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. However, if this is not the kind of electric bike you're looking for, dude, check this one out. I got all kind of e-bikes on my channel. Fun stuff, fast stuff, slow stuff, powerful stuff, 50 mile an hour stuff. Check it out, dude. Catch you over there.